Welcome back, everyone. POW Ponder on Weather here. This next storm just keeps getting bigger. Let me zoom in and take a look at the water vapor imagery and show you what we're talking about. This morning, you can see this latest round, this atmospheric river event. They're getting a little bit of a break right now in California, but tomorrow they really get slammed across the West Coast, and then even a stronger system that comes in on Saturday. But in the middle of the country, we did have a cold front, and back behind that cold front, it's been very windy. But this is what I'm most concerned about, of this rapidly flare up with showers and thunderstorms down here into the southeast. Some of these have turned severe and even tornadic in portions of Kentucky this morning. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has really rapidly elevated and escalated this situation to an enhanced risk for severe weather today down in portions of the southeast. And not only for that, they actually increased it from a 2% to a 5%, now up to a 10% chance of seeing tornadoes down here in portions of Alabama, back into Georgia, into Tennessee. In fact, we've got several tornado warnings happening right now in Kentucky. So this is really escalated in a big way. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily updates on this channel. It's up to 155,000 followers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I would love to reach 200,000 by springtime. So it's also important to hit the like button as well. It definitely helps out more than you know. So let's really delve into the details and take you back the last 16 days, folks. This is really significant. The state of California picked up 24.5 trillion gallons of water. Some of these records have been shattered. In fact, these 16-day rainfall totals have been very significant, and they broke some all-time records of the most rainfall they've seen in the last 16 days. And we still have several more events, and this is the latest update from the Drought Monitor. This is very significant, guys. This is updated every Thursday around 7:30. So this is the newest map, and look at that. Wow, the exceptional drought is gone in California. For the most middle of the country, you're still kind of high and dry. You've been missing out on these systems. But let's zoom into California and show you this significant of what it was last week down in January 3rd and what it is now on January 10th. And look at that, guys. I mean, the exceptional drought is gone. Even the extreme drought, we went from 27% last week to basically none. Now, the severe drought has gone from 71% all the way down to, say, 48%. So yes, we've seen significant change and help with this situation. Unfortunately, it's come with a price. It has had 18 fatalities now in the state of California. So it's a very unfortunate situation to see all the flooding, but it's a good thing to see all these reservoirs really elevated and escalated in a big way. And Lake Oroville's already gone up 80 feet. Literally since Christmas. So we need a lot more help. This is not even compounding with the snow melt that's not even factored in yet. And we've got several more systems definitely on the way. But really, I'm concerned about today is this area down here in the southeast. They do have a tornado watch in place into portions of Mississippi, into Alabama. They've got numerous high wind watches and warnings. There's the cold front. So this one expires about 9 o'clock in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The winds will start to subside for them, but now everything's shifted off into the southeast. They've got all these numerous high wind advisories, and I think even the tornado threat will shift a little bit further off into the east into the afternoon time frame. Right now, we've got severe storms into portions of Kentucky and several tornado warnings. And in fact, this is an upgrade too along the Appalachians. We could be seeing some significant snows really trailing behind this system, and especially into portions of West Virginia. And also some winter weather advisories that extend all the way as far north as Vermont and New Hampshire and getting into Maine with this system, with some cold air trailing behind it. But let's zoom into that tornado threat this morning, because it goes on between now and 1 o'clock. So we're looking at a few tornadoes are likely down in this sector into the Hattiesburg area, down into Jackson, in the Meridian area, down into the Columbus area. This does include the Birmingham area and extends all the way up into Huntsville. And I think this just extends into the east as we get into the afternoon time frame. So this area does, in fact, could pick up some ping pong size hail potential and some of these wind gusts at 75 miles an hour. The significant of these storms are moving rapidly fast, guys. I think a lot of people are going to be caught off guard, especially it was only a marginal risk just a day or so ago. Now it's an enhanced risk, and these storm movements are 50, 60, and some of them are 70 miles an hour. So you're going to have little to no warning with this setup as he's rapidly moving. And this is what I'm concerned about, and this is why they actually upgraded this to an enhanced risk. This is the updraft helicity index. It shows you the potential of that strong low-level jet that's tapping into those warm sector temperatures down here. And these are the areas, the little bit more favored areas that have the most significant updrafts. The darker the color has the most intense, and that's where you could see some of those larger hails and that tornadic activity within this sector down here into Mississippi, into Alabama, heading into the Georgia area. It does creep into South Carolina. Right now it's in Tennessee and Kentucky. So this is a huge area to have to be concerned about for severe weather this morning, heading into the afternoon that extends into the nighttime hours. So let's really break this thing down for you. Here's the latest update from the high resolution guidance about 10 o'clock this morning. Yeah, we could be looking at some snow. That's got a fairly strong cold front. These temperatures dropped about 30 degrees behind this cold front, and it's got some heavier snows that's actually falling into portions of central Missouri right now. But this is the nasty squall line that they're dealing with across Mississippi, heading into Alabama, going into Tennessee. Right now it's in Kentucky with those tornadic supercells. But as we head into your 6 o'clock time frame, that continues to shift further off into the east. I think now this will be under this tornado watch, getting into the Atlanta area, shifting as far south as into the Florida Panhandle. And this goes into portions of South Carolina, getting into North Carolina. And this will just swing all up the coast of portions of Tennessee into eastern Kentucky, getting into West Virginia by then, starting off as all rain, but then snow on the backside. And then the rain will enter portions of Pennsylvania, going into upstate New York. And you do have a little bit of a colder air that's going to be trailing behind this system, ringing out some snow showers into portions of Illinois, into Indiana, and some in Ohio. I wouldn't expect much from this at all, but this is the fast moving. Look where it's at about 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be waking you up in a big way. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. And along this coastal regions into Savannah, heading into North Carolina, getting up the coast into Delaware, into Jersey, into New York City at 1 o'clock, things are going to be rocking and rolling, and with high winds and very significant winds in this area, with pounding rain hitting your windows and portions of Rhode Island, getting into Massachusetts and into Connecticut. Look at the snow. There's not much, right? There's the cold air on the backside rings out some snow. The snow shows up by the time we get into Friday morning. So you got that backside cold, they'll ring out, and that's why we do have some of these winter weather advisories in place up the Appalachians here, getting into West Virginia, as that nasty squall line will be still trying to move off the coast, but still dealing with some leftover rain showers and stronger storms up along the I-95 corridor as you go try to make it into work on your Friday morning. But along the West Coast, we've got that another atmospheric river event that's going to be coming in for them. So you can actually see once we get behind this cold front, it's pretty clear for a good part of the country. It pulls all the energy behind this front, pulls it off into the Atlantic, while then our focus goes into Friday morning along the West Coast with another significant system that's going to be coming in, pounding rains with more heavy rainfall for them, adding to those totals which you've already seen so far. And then even a stronger, more potent system comes in on Saturday. It's just going to be a nasty day. Just prepare right now, folks, for the entire state of California, especially along the coastal regions. It's just going to be nasty. Very high winds, very heavy rain. I expect a lot of power outages potentially, a lot of trees down with this in this area, and then a very heavy rainfall and flooding. If we zoom in, the latest weather prediction center on this significant rainfall, and I think these will be escalated upwards as we get closer to this event, but it's lit up across the West Coast from all the way to Northern California. That includes San Francisco, San Jose, Sacramento. I was reading Sacramento's picked up at least precipitation every day for the last 14 days, folks. It's been 2 weeks. They've seen rainfall literally every day. And I think you still continue to see rainfall for several more days to come before we can say finally goodbye with this system. But we're going to be dealing with some stronger storms creeping back into Southern California as well. Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, even San Diego gets into the action on Saturday time frame. So, but what's significant as we head into Wednesday, we start to see a little bit of a transition, right? We can see the ridge really starting to build out west that kind of dries up this atmospheric river. I think by Wednesday, you're going to be kind of winding down. This is going to be the transition, but that's also going to put the trough a little bit further into the central part of the U.S. And that's going to be a significant pattern change that's going to be unfolding as this ridge slowly creeps further and further east, and this trough comes in and kind of takes over this next week, what I've referred to as transition week. So if we zoom in heading into Wednesday, the 18th, look where the snow's at, right? It's able to pass east of the Rockies. So now we're talking about eastern portions of Colorado getting some heavier snows. We're talking about portions of, Kansas City getting some snows, and Nebraska is getting some snows. But also look where the rain's at, folks. Where it's been high and dry, where they desperately need it, right? Oklahoma City, yes, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth, we're talking rain, right? It's been a month. It's been a month. You're actually seeing precipitation fall out of the sky. And I think that's going to happen by the time we get into Wednesday, as the significant change is going to be unfolding. And so by the time we head into Thursday, it's going to wrap into some of that little bit of colder air. We got another cold front coming through. Obviously, it's been really warm, especially down in Texas. They've been cranking the records out. It hit 85 yesterday in Dallas. It was the warmest January day since 1969, folks. It's been warm. I mean, finally you catch a break with a little bit of relief in sight with some somewhat normal January temperatures, but even some rain coming back. But that by the time we head into Thursday of next week, those areas that are getting pummeled right now will get pummeled again, probably with more severe storms, as you're going to be still in the warm sector down here in the Mississippi and Alabama, getting into the Tennessee Valley again. But we're talking all snow flying into portions of Iowa, even into portions of Chicago. Yeah, you're in a drought too, snow drought as well. And I think you could actually finally get in the action of some snow creeping back in your region. But what's significant is we take a look at the teleconnections, right? We started off January really warm, folks. Okay, so right now these systems are progressive. They're really fast. Fast 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. It's hard to get cold air trapped in that system back behind it if they're moving so fast. And if we take a look at the NAO, which is your North Atlantic oscillation, it actually tries to go negative down here in the 19th and 20th time frame. So that's going to be your transition week. It's going to be trying to pull the snow line a little bit further south, but it doesn't really go that much more negative than what it is going into neutral by the time we head in the 21st time frame. But what's significant is the EPO, right? We see a significant drop starting about the 20th of the month, especially as you head into that last week of January. And if the GFS is right, you guys in the East Coast will be singing, hey, hallelujah, with probably some snow showers in your area by then. So let's zoom in and let's talk about this. So as we head into Friday, right? So we go into Friday, there's the transition. Like I mentioned, the NAO tries to go negative, but it's more neutral. So it's still fairly progressive, right? It's still definitely fairly progressive. So we're still talking about rain off the eastern seaboard, still rain like what you've seen. The snow line is kind of well to the north. So if we break this thing down for you, here's the front 7 days. So we got the atmospheric river event still unfolding. The West Coast gets pummeled, right? They see well above average rains, got plenty more rain coming in off the West Coast, but even portions of Phoenix and Arizona here into Utah still gets in the action as well. With some much needed rain, because these areas haven't really picked up that much significant rain from these systems. Vegas, you're going to be starting to get in the action the next 7 days, right? It's still fairly dry for the middle part of the country, as most of the systems are more or less fairly east of portions as it taps into some of this Gulf moisture. But what's significant, there's the snow. So there's the front 7 days. Again, there's not much cold air. We do have some snow showers this morning into Missouri. We got some snow showers around the Appalachian Trail, these areas, but there's not much cold air to speak of. It's well to the north. Yeah, Maine gets some snow up there, but it does pull in a little bit colder air coming from Quebec. But there's the Intermountain West, so we still get some very heavy snows, elevated snows for the next 7 days for the Intermountain West. But what's significant, the taps really shut off. So by the time we get to the 20th, from the 20th to the 27th of the month of the latest ensemble guidance, really dries up this area. Really dries it up in a big way. I think you can start drying out in a big way in much of the West Coast and much of the Southeast here, while most of the precipitation is the east and the central and eastern 2/3 of the US. And here's the latest European ensembles, right? So the Euro is not as bullish on the EPO drop right now. So that doesn't pull the snow line as far south as what, say, the GFS does. So if the GFS has its way, you saw the crash in the EPO, that would bring down more significant cold air. It's a lower NAO with a slower, less progressive system that would trap the cold longer and increase the precipitation as well. So I think next week is more like a transition week. And I think the week beyond that, your last week in January, is a much colder week. I think we'll be talking about snow lines much further south in places into the Texas Panhandle, places into portions of Oklahoma, getting into the Ohio Valley. We'll finally probably starting to talk about snow for those regions. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well. I update on those platforms, and catch me in the next update where I protect you before and after storm.